to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, welcome everybody. Start with Justin and emergency management. And we'll just hear soon.
Sorry, trying to catch up on something. Sorry.
Sorry. So you can get out of here.
I appreciate it. A couple items. We'll start with the easy stuff first. You got contractor's pay application. This is for MSI. Pay application number 9 in the amount of $353,410.15. This is for work through January 16th. Sorry, I forgot where to read that. The good news is out there, they got a lot of equipment delivered a week and a half ago, I guess it's been. The RO unit, the air handler, 2 steel tanks, something else. I don't remember what else it was, but the RO unit is in the building. They're piping it up. It passed all of the testing on site back up in Wisconsin or Minnesota, wherever they brought it down from. Has a couple, there are 2 or 3 small items. They've got 2 pressure gauges that don't work on the skid. And then rather than delay the skid, they said, we'll just, once we get the new gauges in, we'll bring them down and install them. And then there was one saddle that had a small leak. So they're waiting on that part and they'll bring it in, but we're a little ways from out from needing that completely
They're all
operational.
working to be inside now.
Yep. And MSI and Freitag are chugging along. There's a lot of piping and stuff to do in there. They got the 2 steel tanks outside installed. They'll start insulating those here in the next, insulate it when it's 0 degrees outside, whatever, I guess. But so it's making it starting to look like a water treatment plant inside, which is good news finally. But the filter still won't be here till mid-March. We'll still be waiting on those, but IDEM's happy. We submitted an update to IDEM on January the 10th-ish, 6th, 7th, something like that. They're fine with the schedule as is, so that's always good.
Yeah, I have a motion to sign this contractor's application. Number 9.
I'll make a motion to pay application number 9.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You just sign, that one's for MSI. I meant to mark it for you guys.
Did they see?
Yep. And this one's for our payment. Submit all those.
There's 2.
That's plenty. Thank you. I don't really have anything else in the water treatment plant's chugging along. They've had a couple small items that they'll have change orders for less than a couple $1,000, little small changes, nothing major. So.
The Ridge Co.
Yes, I don't know what the heck is going on at why. I mean, I know the answer they give is what's ARP. They can't find anybody that can do the work, but at this rate, find anybody. So we had it in the meeting minutes. They'll be getting a letter from us next week saying more or less this is ridiculous. It's standing settled metal seam roof. You're in Park County. There's 500 people in the county that can put that on in a day, the whole roof on in a day.
Yeah. Whoever done Riddell Bank in Rockville done the roofing and then turned around, I think it might have been 2 days, put all the Ridge Co on.
Yeah.
I mean,
I-
same roof.
It's ridiculous. I frankly, I don't know what They keep saying, well, the people they send out don't know how to do it. Then why are they ending up on site? So the good news is that they're just wasting their own time, but you guys don't have to pay extra for that stuff, but
They had that one piece.
they put some on and they take it
take it
off
off
and
and
it doesn't make any sense to me at all, but they'll be getting a letter from us to say it's about time to be done with that.
And extended warranty and stuff.
We talked to him about we put the frost guard down and it is a membrane that once punctured is self-sealing. I don't like that term necessarily, that it forms to itself. So it should be good. But once we get this thaw and get some rain, we'll send somebody up into the attic to make sure that we're not getting any moisture down into the attic space or anything like that. But when it's 0 degrees, we can't see any of it. It's not melting, so we can't see if any of it's getting through or not. So, but we'll definitely keep an eye on it. Something to monitor. Wastewater side. We have 4 outstanding invoices. I assume those can be paid out of the ban, correct? So I guess I don't really need any motion or anything. You guys have already made them.
We usually motion to approve.
we need to.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how those go, so that's fine.
I know that from the last audit.
I'll just copy the receipt once we get our scan of it next week. It's one copy of each. I didn't. This is the. That one's the summary. Or invoice 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then that one's 5. This. 4.
So the total is
The bottom.
$94,750.
Yep.
Do we need a motion to approve it? I'll make that a motion to approve. To pay it out of the ban.
I'll second.
In favor?
Aye.
Thank you. No signature?
No signatures on that stuff. Nope. That's all I've got unless anybody has any questions for me.
Is that my copy or?
You got copies if you want them.
No, I know.
Or I'll get rid of, we'll trash them.
All right.
Put them in your file cabinet you just moved.
No files. We're getting rid of all the file cabinets. The only person that got file cabinet is Eric, because he's on the older side, so I like paper files.
There's nothing wrong with paper files.
He agrees. I still had some, but I tried to scan them all in, get away from them because I put them in the cabinet, and
Can't find.
if I need to look at them, I just look on the server and look at the digital copy. Thanks for letting me go first. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Chris, you know,
Yeah, hey, so I'm Chris O'Brien, the county's emergency manager. Last time I came and spoke to you about the hazard mitigation plan, I was gonna send you guys, if you guys review it, if you got any problems, you could get back with me. And I was hoping tonight, if you guys would approve the resolution that I sent, which would approve the hazard mitigation plan for your jurisdiction, town of Montezuma. And if anyone has any questions, be more than happy to answer them.
you got the number for that, Kathy?
Yeah, it's right there on your list. Resolution 2026-01-01.
You got a copy? I mean.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution 2026-01-01.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You just want me to scan a copy to you?
If you would, that'd be great, yeah. Hey, thank you.
Oh, I did that, but.
Thank you.
John, can I interrupt? We have the information about what was found on the cameras, the town's cameras. And are we getting one installed at the boat dock? he was gonna do a investigation, just to do an update on our town cameras, security cameras.
Okay.
And we hadn't heard anything about
I need
what the
some-
report was on these. And we were gonna have one
Yeah.
installed at the boat dock. And I hadn't heard anything.
I
about
reached
it.
out and told him that it was approved for purchase and he told me that he would order the stuff with me.
Okay, I hadn't heard anything.
That's all I knew.
And then did we get a service? And we checked all the cameras to make sure they're working all right?
He didn't want to do like a contract, but he said that he would be happy to, like when he's going to the courthouse or something for the county, to just set aside a little extra time for us. But
All right. Well, we need to know if that one on the bridge is working, that faces the bridge. Because there's been some shooting down there.
I think it was all occurring on the Vermillion County side. but
Was it? Okay. All right. I thank you for letting me interrupt, but I just needed to find out before you asked me.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Chris.
Yes, take care. Okay, now, let me get to the agenda. You all got copies of the minutes of the meeting, previous meetings. To the 11:20 and 12:04. Any changes, corrections?
Oh,
Questions?
that should have been, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
That should have been 12/18/25 and 1/8/26.
That's what mine said.
Yeah.
1/8.
Agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for December 18th and January 8th as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, claims and warrants. In the month, December 2025, $102,999.30. And of tonight's meeting is $582,289.39. Payroll warrants for 12/23/25, 1/2/26, 1/8, 1/15, 1/22, 1/29, an amount of $67,905.23. The bank reconciliation utilities, $3,705,702.55 for the town, $811,537.14. Payroll, $2,781.31. Customer deposits, $40,450. In the Bank of New York, $49,294.46.
I make a motion, we approve the claims and warrants and payroll warrants and bank reconciliation. How's that?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, boy. These are supposed to be, I think so.
What?
These are supposed to be. We don't want.
Yeah, it looks like the paper.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah. My kind of favorite moments.
I just.
Yeah, it changed, but tonight's claims.
Yes, not.
No.
We got, four water sewer leak adjustment requests from Eric Summers, Bruce Shupman, Ellie Coleman, and Kim Griffin.
We got one billing adjustment.
Oh. One billing adjustment previously approved. $358.46. Then we got the four new ones and, all paperwork.
I'll make a motion for the one billing adjustment and the four water sewage leak adjustments.
On favor? Aye. Thank you. Okay, we got, we had a meeting last week with Nathan. Dean, Goodline, Marty, John, Paul, Scott and I. And come to somewhat of agreement to put a no parking zone on, Water Street from Crawford to the next street south. And the town will put in two handicap parking places. It'd be on the east side of the street. And there'll be no on-street parking on Water Street for that block.
The property lines are going to be correct, but this,
Yeah, ordinance number is 2026-01-02. And if you want to pass that tonight, we need a motion to
suspend the rules.
suspend the rules and do it in one reading.
I have a question. You said from Crawford Street south, but you mean Crawford Street
No, it's not,
north
yeah.
to Wilkinson?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to speak if I could at some point in time before it's voted on or passed or anything like that. When I first look at this map, if it's going to be closed from Crawford to Wilkinson, it looks like you're still allowing Jeffries to have cars in the right of way, the JSR, the white areas.
This is, let me clarify that. So this was like to give them, the folks that weren't in attendance, what like a current snapshot of it is.
Okay. So in the areas where it's whited out and says JSR right there, no vehicles can be parked there if you pass the order. Is that correct? Because that's the town's property right there, and that's a big part of what the issue is right now. What we want is we want the parking to remain open for the businesses that are down there, for ours and Marty's. We appreciate the 2 handicap parking spots. That's fantastic. And if those would happen, that's great. We appreciate that. But I don't want to inconvenience Marty or John. It would be very unfair if the parking got closed on Water and right there on Crawford, right across from our entrance, where all the elderly people are parking and everything and coming to the restaurant, right across from Greg Access and the Greg building there, where people are already parking. If you would close that there, then nobody could park where the JSR is at either. And that would be closed too, and that's where Marty regularly parks cars. And I don't want to prevent that. I don't want it to be a hassle down the road or be a headache. I want to try and eliminate issues in the future. And I know that if we aren't allowed to park down there, but then he can park cars there, we're gonna be back here talking about the same thing again, and we're gonna be calling and trying to get things towed, and we'll have to see if the ordinance isn't enforced fairly. What do we do then, right? And I don't even want to get into that mess. I want to find something that works for all of us. And I think keeping the parking open is what's best for the community, for access to Marty's business, for access to our business. And I won't talk much longer, but I just think if we could talk about this a little bit longer. I think there's a plan that we can put together that works for everybody. One issue that was brought up in our meeting was delivery trucks. And I have delivery trucks sometimes that are blocking the road. Marty has delivery trucks sometimes that are blocking the road. And it is an issue down there. If the town could, not in addition to maybe the handicap parking spots, but designate, and it could even be on my side of the street along my building, a 15-minute loading and unloading zone where 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, nobody can block this. It's a designated loading, unloading. And you see that in towns and cities regularly. But the handicap parking spots, loading zone is designated. And I believe Marty, and this is just my thoughts, but from the corner of Marty's building here, and then his building face where his door's at, and then where the alley is at, 2 signs right there on the other side of the alley in his building that says no parking between signs. So nobody should ever be able to block Marty's building, block the alley, block anything. And we aren't trying to park cars in front of Marty's dumpster or along the street there. But that's just my thoughts on a plan that would work, where Marty can still use everything the way he is. There's signs that go up saying, on your guys' property, saying nobody park in front of Marty's place or past the garage, and then leave the rest of the parking available, because we
in front of my place.
well, the other thing, and that was another point that Scott made at the meeting when we talked, that Dean says he needs access to those properties, but it's not the town's responsibility to provide him access. He has to make his own easement. So, we aren't restricting anybody in any way. There's no obligation to give him his access. It's not there right now. And so, but I think that would be a reasonable solution.
Yours was?
Dean has access to all of his parcels off of Crawford Street.
I can't. Your people are parked there.
There's access down that
I'm a
alley.
bitch, I bitch about.
We never block the alley to access them, but that's my thoughts. I just wanted to share.
We in that meeting the other day, right?
Well, it was not unanimous by any stretch, but that's, after much discussion and debate, and, ultimately the town controls the right of way. And that's what we have the decision to make about whether you allow parking or don't allow parking on that right of way. As that's a very narrow, it's narrower than all your other streets by 10, 15 feet at least. So it's already has some issues. And you also have, in that particular block, you have 2 buildings that are built right up to the edge of the right of way. So there's just not a lot of room. I think that there are safety issues when you have that many cars parked along there. There's no sidewalk really for people to utilize. So they're using the road to walk down an already narrow street. It has never been an issue in the past because there hasn't been that much traffic. There hasn't been that much foot traffic. And so, there is no perfect solution to this problem that we can provide as a town. There's just, we don't have a lot of space down there. If you provide a solution tonight, we've done this before. We put stop signs in and said, oh, wait, that doesn't work. Maybe we need to change that. There was concerns about handicap accessibility, handicap parking. The idea, is those spaces would probably not, they're not going to be filled all the time. There would be filled when there was somebody who had proper, need for it. And that would provide two spaces that are very close to the restaurant, would not interfere with anybody else's operations or buildings or anything else. I want to thank John for going down there in the snow and cold and measuring those out to figure out, because we weren't sure if we could do two or not. We thought maybe we'd only be able to do one, but we can fit two spaces down there. That's what we wrote up. We can approve this if you want. But this was what we ultimately came up with.
I don't disagree with a loading, unloading zone, but it would have to be fair as far as everyone would use that. It wouldn't be just for Nathan's use. It would be for Marty's use also. If he had a truck, but is there room for a loading?
It would have to
truck
be
there?
on the east. It would have to be on the, there is no room on the right side for any kind of zone. Because you'd be blocking the street. Now, I mean, it's one thing if somebody, the FedEx truck stops, runs inside, drops something off, comes back, turns its flashers on. That happens. We all see that. You could make a loading zone area, certainly, somewhere there. You don't have a lot of room, but you might be able to find room for a loading zone somewhere on the, I think it had to be on the east side personally, without blocking. You'd be blocking traffic if you, because to park on that west, you should never have anybody parked on the west side of that street. Really, there is no room. They have to be on private property or they're going to be blocking the road. It's just not enough room. The road is just not wide enough. So there is enough room for a vehicle on the east side, but you have a lot of access drives there that are used by the other property owners. So that's a problem. And like I said, the traffic through there is a problem, in my opinion.
On the east side, is there footage enough for a 40-foot trailer and a semi and totaling out 60 feet?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you get up by far enough up there by, is it that starts with K, the family. Kiner, and it'd be a little farther away. There's room up there, certainly.
I mean,
It's not very convenient.
No.
the Don Joe's delivery truck parks along US Highway 36 and unloads their stuff. Delivery drivers do that stuff all the time. There's never been a time, me personally, that I've been down there that, whether it be Marty or Nathan, that you couldn't get through. Like, even with cars parked along the west side. Now, if we had to get a fire truck through there, it wouldn't happen. But it's probably as simple as going and saying, hey, we need this truck moved like now. My opinion is, I don't know if we need to go real in depth on a loading or unloading. I mean, that's obviously your guys' call, but
I mean, his truck probably takes less than 15 minutes to unload all their
15 to 20 probably. Yeah.
stuff.
And I only brought it up just because it was mentioned at the last meeting. And if it's not a huge deal, I'm not worried about it.
I mean, my thought process is, because I get trucks all the time and they're not at the school more than 20 minutes. I mean, they're trying to get their product off to get on to the next spot. Same with Marty's. I'm assuming if you have stuff, they want to get it off their truck and move on to the next spot. I don't foresee we need an actual loading zone. Now, granted, if a truck driver's there and the fire truck needs to get through, that delivery guy's gonna move his truck. I don't see any problem with that. That's just my.
Fine,
two cents on that.
Yeah,
So,
if you don't have parking along the west side, except those two spaces, that does give cars a little bit more room to maneuver around. It's not paved, but they could get around probably.
Outside of this, just the pure dispute of where people can park and can't park, my biggest concern with that whole situation is from a safety standpoint, is the cars pulled out onto 36. It's not when it happens, or not if, it's when. It's going to happen. And we closed that once because
And the state took our signs
The
down.
state
because we
took
didn't
our
get the mail.
signs
Yeah.
and now we've opened it back up and it's just, especially coming off the south side, it's bad. I don't want to change the subject, but that's a huge concern of mine.
Okay.
And that was when we proposed that it go one way. That was kind of my thought process, was that nobody could enter. But
My other concern is if we do close down all the parking on Water Street, I know we won't be happy about it, and then we wouldn't be happy if other people were allowed to park there. So I feel like there's gonna be an issue where, and then let's just say that my customers ignore what the new rule is or the new signs are, and it's a Friday or Saturday and the street's lined with cars. And then it's John's responsibility or someone else's responsibility. The town is then gonna start towing vehicles from this new business. The optics on that aren't good, and I feel like what we need, the decision should try to eliminate issues down the road, and I feel like that's gonna create more distraction and buzz and fuzz. And unfortunately, John or the sheriff's department are gonna be the ones getting those phone calls and having to deal with it. And, you know, the town would have to figure out, what are we gonna do? Write tickets and stick them on the cars? Are we gonna tow them immediately off the right of way? You know, how are we gonna enforce this new ordinance? And that's what I think is gonna be hairy and nasty.
All
And
that should have been thought of before you built a restaurant without any parking.
the parking was already there. Now you guys are trying to take it away. So that's just, I worry about that down the road. This is gonna, if you go no parking, there's gonna be issues, you know.
We have other areas in town with no parking, so if not,
Yeah. the whole list of them.
we're not gonna, I don't think we'd be towing vehicles if we're parked there. We'd write them a ticket and, they get enough tickets. You know, I hopefully people will, I mean, people tend to, my experience has been most people tend to follow the rules. You know, they don't want a ticket and, they don't want to violate the rules. Yes. I don't think John's gonna spend 24/7 down there with a patrol in it, but,
Enough hours.
it happens. You know, we have restricted parking. Well, you got the ordinance here, Mary. That shows all our areas where we have different restrictions on parking and handicap spots and so forth.
And they're
So,
all basically the same issue.
in many
Blocking-
respects, you know,
blocking
the post
foot
office had
traffic.
issues, and so we've tried to
Yeah.
work some solution there. No solution is perfect, you know, none of this is perfect.
School.
It isn't. I wish we had parking on both sides of that. I wish that road was wider and we had parking on both sides, but we don't. This is, you know, interesting. Washington Street is, I think it's 60 feet wide. It's a really wide street. And it was designed for, you know, your main street downtown, and that's why that street's wider. We talked about that, but that we didn't, doing the time parking, yeah, like between these hours and these hours and other hours, it would be. You could, I mean, that's something we could change if you wanted to. You know, no parking between certain hours, we did talk about that. But
I think that
My only concern with that is he's put things up posting, don't park there, and I've seen multiple days where they're parking right in front of it. So if you put a time thing, I just don't think they're gonna listen to the time. And I understand your customers and you don't want to put any of that on them. The problem is, I don't think there's gonna be a good solution for anybody in this whole situation. I know you're thinking it's worse on you. I get it, because you're a business and you have multiple people coming and going. Marty has multiple people coming and going, not in the quantities that you have. But I just don't think a time's gonna work if they're already disregarding the sign that's been put up not to block that whole section.
I can agree with that. I think that it should just be open parking. is what
But
we
it's
really-
then gonna continue to be just as bad, or if not worse than what it's already been. So that's not gonna work.
I know, with I understand, I would understand if the parking, I know that some people do not enjoy the additional traffic and parking. But in no time ever since we've opened have we impeded Marty's business. Like we blocked him or stopped him from doing his business, not
Okay, but
once.
you've impeded Mr. Dean's
No,
property,
well-
and he's posted out there, and I've driven by where people are parked
But
right in front of the
he-
sign.
he
It ain't just
posts.
people, it's his wife
So-
and his
He can
employees.
post, but that's the town's property and people have been parking there for years. That's the thing. Like something, if you were gonna give him a driveway, it doesn't exist now. The change would have to be made to give him a driveway. because right now it doesn't exist.
But if that's where he's entering and exiting the property and he's asked you and he's brought it to our attention,
Yeah.
we could do some nice things and you have a wonderful rep of people posting on your page. You could have said, there is one specific spot. Please try not to park in that. It's posted. You see it.
We
So-
were there for 3 years before we started.
But you didn't have customers for 3 years.
We were parking.
So there's the problem though, is it's gotta be give and take on both sides. And right now, I'm not feeling much give on your
I
side.
don't think it should be give and take. I think the town should make a decision that's best for the
Well,
community.
personally, me driving down there when it's busy,
Yeah.
it's very hard to get in and out of there, down there.
I think the town should just make a decision that's best for the community, not for one person or the other.
Smarty.
I got one question. We was talking about the driveways, the last meeting. Where is my access to my property?
You have access to your property off of Water Street.
I know, but where is it actually at? I mean, on my parking lot. I mean, is it as wide as my parking lot or?
Well, that I don't know the answer to, Marty, because that's,
You understand what I'm
the
saying?
law doesn't define that very well. It just says the entryway to your property.
Yeah.
And like we talked about at the meeting, that's real easy out where I live out in the country, where I got a driveway that comes out to the end of the road. At your spot, it's a little more complicated because you've got a gravel that people come in and go. But fundamentally, nobody can park in that right of way, period. That's unless you're one of there's 2 handicap spots and you're handicapped. That's so to some, I look at it and say, we're treating everybody the same here. You cannot park in the right of way. Doesn't matter who you are or what property you own or you don't own. Any of us could, right now, any of us could go park down there. We're restricting parking on that street. It's a narrow street. It's not particularly conducive to parking and the amount of traffic that it's seeing right now. There's safety issues with it, with cars parked all along that side. And, we all bear that sometimes when there's a ball tournament going on or it's covered bridge, but it's a limited time period when those things are happening. We deal with in Clinton during the festival or whatever, there's a lot more cars and it's a lot harder to get around. This has been something that's, from what I can tell, has been kind of friction the whole time, and it's not going to go away because hopefully the restaurant continues to do very well and is very successful. So we are trying to address it in a way that we thought was equally crappy to everybody.
Dean, your thoughts?
I thought we agreed to it the other day, I have no problem with the handicap spots. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I mean, I just want to be able to get in my driveway.
So, do we want to vote on this tonight, suspend the rules or?
The end of February,
Right.
Yeah,
and I've already been dealing with this for 2 months.
Is there any sort of time period of notice that needs to happen to the town or the community before something like this happens?
It
I
has to
feel
be
like-
published, it would have to be approved, published, and posted.
So you guys approve it then before it goes, the town's not notified before it would be passed or anything?
Published and posted. Published means in the newspaper. That can't happen until next week at the soonest. And then proper signage would have to be.
A month after that, or what's the?
He's
No.
just asking how
posted
long
immediately.
Yeah, I don't know how quickly, we
We
have
can give
to,
it to the paper, it'll be printed Wednesday and then posted.
I don't know how, if we have these signs in the garage or if we have to order signs, Nathan, I don't know. We'd have to get some signs up.
The part I'm
I think we were all in agreement the other day that like we were gonna get some cards. We weren't like day one gonna just start issuing tickets. Like we were
No.
gonna give some people some grace for one because it's.
Oh, I hardly think that should happen.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna take, I just don't know with the weather and stuff, it's probably not great to try and drive up.
Probably not. We don't have the signs, do we,
I
John?
think the access to
No.
No.
Yeah.
Get
Well,
quoted and
that's
they-
what gets me,
The only thing I
was built 1900.
He's done-
It's
he's
built
done
on the
going
damn
down the
road, you know what
road.
I'm saying? I mean,
If you guys don't make a decision and enforce it, I know you don't like to have to do that. But if you don't do it, there's gonna be problems. I can tell you that right now. I've been trying to be smiley about it, but I'm getting to the point where I'm really getting pissed. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I can't get it in my own driveway. mean, we can laugh and joke and we won't write tickets or whatever. That's what you're paid to do. Period.
I'm confused. Where's your driveway? Do you know what I mean?
Right in front of the.
Well, that's what we're trying, that's what I'm trying to get clarified.
Mhm.
Where is my driveways?
It
You know,
won't-
you
it
don't park
won't
in front
matter
of,
if they
you don't
close
park
the
in front of
parking
Dollar
lot.
General's driveways. You understand what I'm saying? Entrances, whatever you want to call
No, I understand. No, I
them. See,
understand.
that's why I'm asking, where is mine?
That's not a question I can answer. I mean, I can argue, but I can't answer it
You'd
because
be able to enter anywhere because nobody would be parked there.
It's got this whole lot.
That's simple.
Well, now, this time, yes, but I mean, as it stands right now.
there's a state definition that doesn't fit real great. And we don't have a situation, Montezuma doesn't have a lot of rules and regulations where you have to come get a curb cut if you want to put a new drive in or something. We haven't done that. So we don't have zoning rules. So.
The other day at the meeting, when we left that meeting, it was decided this was what we wanted to.
You got two other board members.
Yeah, but we was going to present that to the board, but this was a recommendation that come out of, well, Marty was there and Dean and his wife, Nathan, John, Paul, myself and Scott was all.
And it's a state law that prohibits blocking in the driveway, not the town.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, you know, I
He's
mean,
just trying to figure out where it is.
I mean,
But-
if we make it non-parking, it's not an issue, but right now, you know,
Mhm.
So your question is a width?
yeah, where's that?
Oh.
That's all I want to know.
Like on
It
here.
will be
is the
immaterial
first
if it's
section
no
of
parking.
his
Yeah.
Property,
Yeah.
like is that his whole right of way there?
There's, it's
Into his
immaterial where your
property?
drive is if there's.
Or
no
is
So if I got a car hanging halfway out my door and I'm in the no parking zone, I'm working on it. You follow what I'm getting at? I just want to know where my boundaries are.
And that's why I think doing the no parking thing is
You
just.
understand what I'm saying?
I agree.
I've got a survey
mean,
that shows
To me, that's.
your garage out.
If he's on it,
road.
on his property.
Well,
you know.
And I don't think that's correct because you said that survey was, that road was 1898 and that
It's
was.
Keiner's had a survey
No,
done in
but I mean, you said the road was
1849.
49 because my building was built in 1900. I'm pretty sure they didn't build it on the road, or past the road.
Yeah, you'd be
You know what I'm
surprised.
saying? I mean-
Oh, I wouldn't be so sure. I wouldn't be so sure.
And also, then what we'll run into is then there'll be cars parked in the right of way, jacked up in a parking spot, right? Hey, we're working on them.
There's no parking in the right of way.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you. It's up to the enforcement to enforce.
I just want us to be fair all the way around. If it gets canceled all the way down, nobody should be parking there. I don't want that. I don't want parking.
But if his car's hanging out the garage, he's not parking, he's working on the
And
car.
he
So
can't be
that
right-
kind of is.
can't be in the right
That's what I'm asking.
That's
You know what
just,
I'm saying? I
Can't be
want
in the
to
right
know
of
my-
way. It would
I
be
mean,
illegal.
unfortunately, it's gonna
What
be
about boundaries, though?
inconvenient.
Against the ordinance.
Yeah.
That's just what we're getting
Like I said,
into.
There's never been a problem.
That's
For
why-
27 years I've been down there and probably for 100 years before that. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
That's why I just said we should
So
probably
now-
take more time and think about it.
you know, but I don't have a problem with no parking.
I don't care what the
I just
decision
want
is.
to know where. You know,
We aren't gonna be hating on the town, whatever the decision is either, but I really think the best decision for the community and for Marty's business and my business is to keep the parking there. I really do, but I understand the safety concerns. When you guys say that and you put it in that perspective, I completely understand that. So, I mean, whatever you guys want to do, but, there will be hassles about cars being in that right of way forever. And, and there's cars in it all the time. There's pallets and tires and things like that and metal I-beams and stuff that's been laying out there for years. All of that needs to get cleaned up. If there was no parking, there's a lot of things that need to be kind of straightened up and cleaned up there. It's your guys' decision. Sorry.
Well, we have to do something because doing nothing is just gonna continue the animosity that's building already, so.
I'm sorry to be that way. It's not directed towards.
I mean, here's the thing. I hope your business does great. I hope
do
you
too.
continue to have as many people as you have. Unfortunately, I think the problem is you keep comparing to you've been there for years, but you haven't had the customers there for years. So, I mean, I want your customers to continue. The problem is though, is when I go by and see it all the way up and down the sides, it is a safety. It is a fire truck can't get through there. An ambulance would barely probably get through there. I like the idea of having some handicap close to your doorway, because especially in this weather, you know, I don't want to make anybody not go to your business. However, then I look at Marty's business. He has people coming and going. I look at Dean trying to get in and out of his property. I just feel like we have to make a decision to make it, whether it's right or wrong on either side, we have to make a decision just to help figure out the best way to make this feasible for everybody. So for me, I don't have a problem with saying the no parking, and I mean, if we have to reevaluate later, we reevaluate later, but we got to try something.
Yes.
How many parking, you have that lot in the front there. Do you have it kind of figured out to where people can park on that lot right there?
Yeah, so we had to go through a full design release with the state commissioner to develop the restaurant. And the number of parking spots that are required for the seating and occupant load of our restaurant was met and exceeded by 3. So in the plans that we have, we required 23 parking spots. And in the 2 lots on both ends, we have 26 parking spots that were designed and laid out. Now, do I have parking bumpers in and organized and all that? No, people just whip in there
Right.
any way that they want.
Okay.
But yeah, we exceeded the state requirement for parking spots.
So can we, sorry,
I was gonna say, but when you got 10 people working,
that's what I was
Yeah.
getting ready to say. Where are
Well,
you?
they're considered in the occupant load. I don't make the guidelines or anything like that, but the occupant load is 87 and the employees are included in that. And then they base the amount of parking spots you need off of the full occupant load. And then technically I can't have more than 87 people with my employees included in that in the building. Yeah.
So like they don't park in that lot per se.
So
They park wherever
I
they
ask my
can.
employees to park on the street parking, because so that our customers can use the lot up close to the building.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you got rid of that fire pit there, would there be some more
Well,
parking that you could?
The reason I put that fire pit and those rocks there is because that's all AT&T high profile fiber optic and all that right there. And cars would be driving off in the pit and everything. I set that up to block all those utilities from getting hurt. You guys have a water meter that's in there as well. And it's really shallow. So actually I set all that up to protect the utilities that are in there right there. I wouldn't move any of that.
Okay.
More people on motorcycle.
Yeah, well, we'll put a sign up when it's warm out motorcycle parking, just see if they stop. Yeah.
So,
I'll make a motion to suspend ordinance 2026-0102, where we can do something about the parking on Water Street.
You have to vote on that, and then you have to vote on the ordinance.
yes,
Okay.
Because it takes unanimous consent to suspend.
we have a second on suspending the rules.
I'll second it.
On favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now. Vote on ordinance 2026-01-02.
That's for this one now.
So the only parking along there is going to be 2 handicap spots.
Yes.
No one else is going to be parking along that street.
Well, it's, so are these parking spaces here that they can park in or no? What is that?
Yeah, yeah,
That's part of his,
What's that?
that whole plan on your
Our
property.
right of way is not on that side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have, I mean, the right
Where
of way on
the-
that side is
Where the parking,
the width of
lot.
the table. It's, there's not much right of way on that side.
Okay. So okay. Then, so you'll have the 2 handicap on that side of the road and nothing else, but you'll still have your parking on the other side and your lot in the front, plus the parking on Crawford Street.
There's also, there would still also be parking on the east side of Water Street as you continue north. Water Street actually widens after that. block.
After that block.
And so there'd be.
So up here?
No, past, no parking would go past Kiner to Wilkins.
I hope it doesn't become a problem later down the road too, because I feel if we constrict it, it's gonna squeeze out somewhere else. But I was just thinking, around the corner, I've already seen it and just throw it out there, hopefully nobody complains. But around the corner on Wilkinson, Judy, is her name Julie or Judy? that lives there? Judy on her side and on there, that's all got an easement
Well-
on each side going up to, and people have been squeezing that.
Yeah, they've got a pretty well-defined driveway.
busy times. Yeah, you can tell where the driveways are at there. But I have some people kind of squeezing in there along the edge of the road around the corner. That
Yeah,
might,
people would go.
might come up in the future. You know.
I give Judy free meals once a week.
I was kissing my breakfast. Yeah.
We have a motion to adopt that ordinance.
Yeah, I make a motion to adopt the ordinance 2026-01-02.
Second. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you for the handicap stuff.
I hope
Wish
that
there
just
was a
helps.
lot more roads.
I do too.
To be able to park it.
Or if your
Everybody.
lot was more flat to make a bigger parking on that back
I
side.
suppose if you ever want to sell your lot to make a parking lot, then maybe you two can get together.
Maybe.
The, when the weather breaks, we're gonna clean that. It's our right away, I guess,
That'll make a difference.
because it's up against you. We're gonna dress that up a little bit,
Yeah, tree and stuff.
just so you're aware.
I do have one other thing for the town separate from those issues. You know, the Duke Cayuga power plant job is taking off right now. And that's a $1.3 billion project. What, 3.3? Well, I've secured about 280,000 tons of the aggregate for that job here in the next 4 months. And a really large part of that, about 120,000 tons, is coming out of town. So, I mean, we're talking 7,000 to 10,000 dump truck loads in the next 3 months. So I just want to give you a heads up. Traffic is going to be crazy going down Washington, down to there and out. And it should start in probably the next month, I'd say. And then on top of that, there'll be 30 to 40 trucks hauling from Lincoln Park Stone and Putnamville. And when you see all those, the dump trucks go, they're all running, they run 36 right through town. So hopefully it'll be a good thing for town, fuel and lunch and people at the gas stations and things like that. But there's going to be a lot of activity here in the next 6 months.
Well, I hope a lot of them have lunch with you.
A lot of wear and tear on the roads.
Well,
That crossing grant might need to be taken care of.
Washington just got paved and they're going to beat the hell out of that road. And that's my concern. It's going to get torn up. Like that kind of traffic is serious.
Okay.
Down there on Washington at the far end where our drive meets the asphalt, it's going to get everything. I mean, and probably where they turn off of 36 onto Washington right there. It may not show the full signs this spring and summer, but after you get one winter over it, it's going to disintegrate.
How many truck loads you think that'd be?
So 120,000 divided by 22. I don't know, it's maybe 7,000 loads. That's a designated truck route, which is a problem. Because if it wasn't a truck route, you could require road bonding to where the contractors had to fix it for you.
Oh,
But since it's a designated truck route, it wouldn't require bonding, it's approved, or you could try and reroute them down Strawberry Road if it became an issue and put some signs up and try and work it that
we
way.
can talk to Duke too.
There's,
I actually said, I've been talking to Duke about this project because of the county, so, they've been very understanding about the impact that their project's gonna have, on county highways, county roads, county bridges, things of that nature. And I think they've expressed their desire, saying they want to be good neighbors. We'll see if they would be willing to perhaps understand that it's going to have a outsized impact on some roads in Montezuma as well. And that they maybe, I can ask, see if they say they help out.
Thank you for
When
bringing that up.
you're spending 3.3 billion, 100,000 towards the road is nothing.
and I wouldn't fix it right away. It's a
Yeah, you want to wait till they're done.
like 3 or 4 years from
Yeah,
right now.
It's gonna take several years.
Okay, moving right along, investment account. Transition to a custody account held in a money market. As it is currently, and proceed with managed investments. That was the thing you sent out.
Is that part of what?
That's what they discussed with us. We need to decide which way we're gonna go. 'Cause right now, it's no longer.
Well, so we had a call yesterday with, Jason Idle George and John Royer from First Financial. Right now, the town has, about 1.3 million in accounts at First that are considered investment accounts. They're essentially though, just in a money market account, which is very much like a cash account. There's limits on how you have to have certain minimum balances and so many transactions a month. It does earn a good interest rate right now. It's earning 3.53% right now, which is pretty competitive to what things like certificates of deposit are earning. And the town's ability to invest is restricted. You can't, you can only invest in very, very safe things. Certificates of deposit, treasury, bonds, things of that nature. No Bitcoin, stuff like that. And part of this is, I think, having been on that call yesterday, is First wants some documentation in its files to say, what guidance do you have for us? Because they get audited just like you do, differently, but they need to have direction on file for how we want their stuff invested. And what I heard them saying yesterday was they expect that interest rates are going to start to, now the Fed met yesterday and did not change interest rates, but they think that they're certainly pushed from the White House to drop interest rates. And as Fed membership changes, the interest rates are going to start to drop. And when the money market is very reactive to interest rates. If interest rates drop at the Fed yesterday, your money market interest is going to drop it's going to drop in a month. It'll react very quickly. And I think their recommendation would be that we consider buying some CDs right now or some other longer term investments. They would be at a higher interest rate, number one. But number two, that interest rate would be there even if the Fed does drop interest rates. That makes sense to you. So if you buy a CD at 3.8 or 3.9%, and it's a 18-month CD, you're still going to be drawing that 3 point, whatever I said, interest rate, even if the money market rate drops down to 1.5 or, something like that. And we have almost never taken money out of these investments. I think there was one time when we did, because of some gas stuff that had happened, where suddenly that was that whole fiasco over the gas. When we got that massive bill because of those,
The trees up down.
Texas, all Texas's fault. Yeah. So outside of that, our money, and right now we're making 30,000-40,000 a year, I think they said, which is good. We wouldn't be making a lot more if they did this, but if interest rates were to drop a lot, we would still be making that 30, 40, 50,000 a year instead of 10 or 5. That was what they were thinking. But that's, they, I think, would probably push towards more CDs, just CDs, something. And they would stagger those from 6 months, 12 month, 18 month, and maybe some longer ones. They do point out, and you should understand this too, just because your CD is 2-year CD doesn't mean you can't get money out if you need it. You can. You just have to. You may lose a little bit if you're getting 3.8. You might sell it to somebody at 3. They'll sell it. They'll sell it to somebody. Somebody will say, "Oh, I'll buy it. I'll give you 3%. I'll give you the 3% interest on that right now. Here you go." And then I'll get 3.8. A month from now when you cash it in or whatever, 2 months from now. So it doesn't mean that your money's not available to you. It would take 48 hours for that. We do pay fees to have them manage this, and that just comes out of, I think it's not very much. It's right now it's $750. I think they said it was going to be
1250 or 1500.
Yeah. So it's up to you guys though.
1500 for the year.
I think if it's accessible to us, if we need it, then why not go to something that It's gonna guarantee more of a.
That would probably, yeah, I mean, I think I hadn't thought about it, but because interest rates have been good, and we have been making good interest money, but if they are, they're probably, I understood. Yeah, okay, yeah, maybe we should lock in some of those interest rates right now while we're on the high side. And get some investments that are gonna be on that high side. Because if interest rates do fall, we're not gonna make as much. In what we have now, we still have some in it. I'm sure they still have some in a money market or something.
So if we changed to the managed investments, it would be at a higher interest rate.
That's their belief, yeah. I mean, we asked what the CD rates were, I can't remember, they said they were higher than what we're getting now. They're not drastically higher, it's not like, oh, wow, we can, buy a new fire truck or something, it's not like that, but it would be higher, and it would be a more locked in rate than the money market account that's in that. It would still be FDIC insured, certificates of deposit and treasury bills. If treasury bills go south, we all have problems. So, so that's why they're not going to be putting it into anything outside of the parameters allowed by state law. We might get that. We want to reinvest it, yes, but how we do that is. I saw what you said.
Yeah.
I wonder what
And
they want
like
to
you said, that would be nice to have before we move on. We get it to work.
You would go to the managed investments? Would be the most logical, to get a little extra money.
Cost you a little bit more, but hopefully we would make a little bit more, at least we would maintain that, thank you.
Yeah. Motion?
I'll make a motion to go to the managed investments.
Second? Yeah. All in favor?
Kidding. My goodness, it makes me nervous.
Yeah.
And the client.
The money you got with,
That's probably just on my phone.
And that's probably doing too, isn't it? Some of those traders, yes.
I mean, you do the dope wires and get focus.
You need to sign there where it says client and data.
That is a co-pilot.
Well,
Well,
you're in job.
technically, you're like the board of finance. and
Oh,
you're
right.
asking us actually on investments.
That's a curious sound.
You're on the board of finance.
I mean, it's guaranteed, so, and you still don't mean you can't get that if needed.
okay.
It's not like.
I should make stop and wait.
You know, I mean, if
Diana,
If you don't mind, let Penny go first. She's got to do a report and she needs to go. And then she, I think she needed to go.
Thanks, Nancy.
it happens when it already doesn't.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. No one's bothering you. That's a-
We can share.
Oh, if you got an extra one, you need.
No,
It's good. Oh, I
Um,
was like this.
And if you just write me a receipt in the morning.
Yep.
I'll pick it up when I put that in lunch. parkboard stuff.
Okay.
Meeting. So I'll let you read that. That's all about what we did in softball last year. Our numbers were down. Hopefully this year we'll get back up. But, I don't know, it seems like kids aren't wanting to get out and do a whole lot in the summertime. And I'm just gonna tap your check for this year. For $300. We had a really good festival, with beans did this year. I was real pleased. Had to go out and get more beans. We sold more this past year than we did, well, ever.
Right.
Busy.
That's pretty good weather.
Yeah, yeah, and that's our main fundraiser. I mean, kids do other things, but that's our main one. So if you have any questions, And I just, I want to say that I appreciate the town guys. They do so much to help us out. And, so I really do, and I've let them know so many times how much I appreciate them. I was working on the bean shack and they came out and yelled at me because I was up on the ladder. Like I told them, somebody's gotta do it, so.
Thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I knew she wanted to get home.
Oh.
Thanks. The only thing that I have, thank you for allowing me to ask about the security cameras. And because we hadn't heard what the results were on the service and the check and all that.
Oh, I thought I told Paul, maybe I did.
You sent an email, but it's been quite some time.
Right.
He sent an email.
Did he? Okay, I didn't see.
It's been a
that.
few months ago though.
All
But it
right.
was from, what's it, Chris Clark,
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
from the camera business.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
I can look back.
okay.
Sorry.
Maybe Paul can look at his emails too.
Thanks, Sean.
You right over
Don't even.
Too many irons in the fire. The only thing that I have is, we're planning for the chili cook-off Saturday, the 21st of February here at the community center. And I think we already have 8 teams signed up to make chili. And we're looking for auction items for the silent auction, and we're looking for tasters, and we still need judges. So if you're interested in coming to judge the very best chili that gets the coveted golden ladle, then we would appreciate that. And we meet this Sunday, so we'll know more. We're head there, and of course, there is a survey out there right now, and on Survey Monkey to find out what the public would like to see us put in the next 5-year park master plan. So that's where we're heading for the next year. I can't think of another thing right now. Do you remember if I've forgotten anything, Paul? Okay.
No, I'm on one of the bus.
All right. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it. Thanks for your
Thank you.
support. And I too, like Penny, can't thank those guys from the town and that for all that they do.
It's a great crew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sure is.
Oh, okay.
I'm done.
Thank you. Marty? Dean?
I'm good.
You're speechless, really?
I'm still just confused whether I can be hanging out my garage door or not, but.
It'll be all right. We'll pray about it.
frustration was not
Can you drive,
directed
can you drive
at any
60,
of you guys.
can you drive 75 down the interstate?
No, I don't go down the interstate.
Well, can you drive 62 down 36?
Yeah, as long as you don't get caught.
Well, that's your answer.
Skip.
I got nothing to beat all these
Sorry, I'm
guys.
just
Eight runs,
confused. I don't care about
eight
my
runs
part,
today,
I'm just
so,
saying.
8 runs today.
starting off with a fireball.
And also, if we want to get more technical, if I got a bumper hanging over that line in my parking lot, is that,
I can't see the line.
I'm just trying to get, so I know what to do. I'm not trying to
You're
be
seriously,
responsible.
imagine you're asking me, you're asking John if it's okay if you're going 32 down the street. He can't say it's okay. But I can't
I mean,
say.
that's all.
I'm not gonna drive by and look for a car hanging out your door. That's not my, it's not in my.
You know, they may be in front of the door. You never know. You know what I'm saying?
But if it's like up against the pavement, we're gonna probably have to just have a conversation. That's just the way it seems it reads to me, so.
You will be checked.
That's what I'm getting at. I'm just.
We're gonna get John
Where I
the
stand.
ruler
And
and yardstick. Tape measure.
It's, that's what I truly don't mind enforcing it. It's just that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Somebody, you know when somebody's parked and when somebody's not.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, I got two quotes for you. One would be for the signs in the cemetery. The second quote is going to be for 7 radio receivers, and external antennas for the garage doors at the utility shop. They're having issues with them. It was before me. I don't know when that shop was built or when those doors were put in, but they're probably pretty old.
These are street signs in the cemetery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought, we got one sign up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the idea of like
Well, we need
when
to,
somebody's trying to find a lot and
Yeah.
we can say it's between this street and that street.
They're black signs with white writing on them and they have a white border around them.
Are you using the name, the original street name?
Whatever they're plotted at as now is on the quote, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll make a motion
Actually, yeah, 'cause I gotta
to purchase the signs for the cemetery. For John's quote.
And where are you gonna pay
Do what?
for them out of?
most flat sign.
How much
You
more?
made a motion.
Oh, you made a motion.
Sorry.
I'll second the motion.
25.
Cemetery.
Sorry.
355370.
I know.
53.
Signs. 23. Signs.
I don't get a vote.
Well, you put 25, 33, 70.
Hey, where are we going?
We got an idea.
Abstained.
Mhm.
Good.
Yes.
Who made them?
TK
Kathy had an
made it.
idea.
I second.
All in favor?
I
Aye.
abstain.
And then that's the doors. TK made it. I
They've
second.
done all of our service for as long as I can remember. They do a great job. It's,
You guys have all seen this, so Kathy wants.
Overhead.
it was just something outside of routine maintenance, so that's why I showed it front of me.
Do you need my quote?
And they were troubleshooting an oil leak on that Ford utility truck. I don't think it's gonna be anything major. They just been chasing a vac leak all day since about 5 or 6 a.m. They were still on it when I have trouble narrowing it down, so they haven't really got to work at it. But that's the only issue with equipment that I know of. I did run into Ken. He's recovering well from his surgery, but he's got to, just go through some more therapy before he gets released to come back and help us. But everything's going well. He's cut his hair. I had to do a double cut. Is that really you? I asked Dustin earlier, and there's some, I don't know. That's why I'm asking questions. I mean, we missed the community crossings last year. That's something that we need to keep on the forefront. Like, I know Kathy's been setting some money aside for future community crossing stuff. So If we can do it for July, that's what she was thinking initially. But he
Yeah,
thought
but once
maybe,
he said that, they've changed it. Is it once a year now?
I believe it's once a year, though. I also think the match is down to 20% match.
I can, I can find out tomorrow. So Weston was gonna get more.
And we did do the update on the ranking of the roads and stuff.
Pacer.
HWC did.
Yeah, I saw,
Management.
I saw that. I remember that. Yeah, they did do your update. So I think you would be
We're
eligible.
eligible.
Just a question of timing and how much money do you want to bank up, and you could, your MBH restricted doesn't have
I'm
a
in the process.
ton of money in
Start
it.
snowing and moving stuff out of there.
16,000.
Yeah,
Just roll away somewhere.
6 degrees out.
Yeah, you're,
Yeah, we'll see.
yeah, about time.
But I mean, I'm pretty sure we can wait till.
You're in good shape.
That's always good.
Yeah, I hate to miss that.
I feel like we got,
Yeah, I think
as far as the towns, go, we got some of the best roads in the county, and I don't want to see that go away. Like, our roads are in pretty good shape.
See, yeah,
You
you go
can't-
down some of these other towns.
And I'm glad Nathan spoke up to let us know because
Yeah.
Yeah.
we probably need to hold off on that area.
You,
And with that conversation with him, I worry about on the grade there at the park, how that road on the right-hand side at the basin keeps going down. It's, I don't know whether it's washing out under or the whole road shifting, but it's settled quite a bit over the years.
Yeah, it's down probably 3 feet in that one area.
The dentist brought that up a long time ago.
I was gonna mention something about community crossing, if you don't mind. And you guys, I think maybe have done this, I can't remember, but last year was the first year Clinton did it, where we also did some of the sidewalks that parallel.
I thought that was a requirement now. If you do the road, you gotta.
They want you to do the ADA crosswalks, for sure. We want to do
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
But,
we did.
but they will also pay for sidewalks parallel to where you're paving. And I know we talked a little bit, and I don't know that that would make sense to, but there's some sidewalks around town that are getting more traffic because of the restaurant and stuff, and maybe.
Yeah, that sidewalk that's slowing down that, where we
Yeah.
talked about that water meter on that corner, that sidewalk needs.
So it might
Mhm.
factor into your considerations. Of course, it means less money for the roads if you're putting money into the sidewalk, but the sidewalks don't need to be fixed as often. They usually last a lot longer.
Brad and I are meeting with, IMPA on the 10th at 10 a.m. to discuss some options. And the guy, the same, basically it's, it would kind of be like a Dirk, only for IMEA. He's reached out, she showed up last week, and they're wanting to do the same thing, and I don't see any reason that we can't bounce them off of each other, their services and just.
Oh, for Broward?
Huh?
For Broward? For train?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or just, the town's infrastructure in general. I'd like to see, you know, their costs compared to our EMC and.
Yeah.
Vice versa. So that's kind of the goal. I'm gonna meet with both of them. I just don't have a date for it. I mean, I already mentioned that the guy's been chasing these back leaks with this extra cold stuff. Really stinks for him when it gets this cold. The only other two things I got on the utility side is, are you gonna touch on the gas rate thing with that? And then I put the investments. Was that all wrapped into one, Kathy, or do they need to do something separately if we're gonna?
Probably separately, because that was basically just approving to go to that asset management.
With the email that I,
Mm.
what her and I talked about yesterday, if they wanna move some stuff, so. I have that in my notes too. You don't have to take action on it tonight if you don't, but
The question is, do you want to put more money?
I think it's a
want to put,
no-brainer in my opinion.
do you want to put a little bit more? into your
The
investment?
checking account, it's not earning nothing.
No, that's silly. I think we need to, yeah. To. In the checking.
Use the amounts that you put out in the email.
We still good with that? That's what,
Yeah, I mean, it is back and available to them pretty quickly. I mean, we may want to have a conversation about, maybe they're gonna wanna know, well, we wanna keep 25% of it in money market, 75% in CI, or whatever. But the reality is that we probably would not need to dip. If we needed to dip into it, we would be able to dip into it if we had to with 48 hours notice. You know, you can really make, you do have, I mean, I was looking, you got 3 million. So, you know, it could be doing more work for us. And now that it's a county nightmare for Kathy. So, but I don't know that adding more money in there is going to make it any worse. So, you know, we're leaving, and in a time, honestly, where tax revenues at least are not going to be what we want them to be. It's going to help your utilities more than anything, but at some point, you're going to have to do, you're already doing electric work, and you're going to have to do more. And so, and gas and stuff. And so, you know, you might as well be making money while it's just sitting there instead. I don't know why you wouldn't. And you got to, you know, like I said, it's a lot for Kathy, but.
And also, I didn't look at it at the time that customer deposit were allowed to invest that also. It looks like we could probably take about 5,000 electric, gas, water, and put what we already have.
Unless everybody comes back and gets depositing one day, it'd be fine.
Yeah.
Everybody moves out on one day.
That's like 48 hours.
We need a motion to do.
Probably need a motion that we start.
Yes, yeah, that'd be good for you to have, the bank might want.
I'll make the motion to
Do whatever.
do what you want to do.
What John recommended.
Yeah, what John recommended.
Exactly.
And
And the email.
Plus what Kathy said.
plus customer deposit. 5,000.
On favor.
Alright,
Okay.
so you're taking money out of customers' deposit?
It's a separate bank account from town and utility. So if you can see in your fund report, the balances, we are allowed to take that balance. You gotta keep enough in there to operate off of.
Okay.
Then the interest earned off of that can go back to your utility, electric, gas, and water. Utility account.
Okay.
I'm good. Then on the police side, it's pretty short and sweet. 21 calls for service resulting in 2 felony arrests, and Darren and I will be attending the IDA conference in Indianapolis, the 18th through the 20th. Something we do annually. Typically, we get part of our in-service hour, mandatory in-service topics are covered there. That's why we choose that, and it's close to home. So that's all I got. I appreciate your support there.
Think about making the job a little bit more difficult.
It's not more difficult. It's actually the situation before. It's super difficult because
It was no man's land.
yeah. I understood what Dean was saying, but like, then I asked Scott, I'm like, how big is the driveway? Like, what's the legal definition? If he says, I want it here, do we have to give it to him here? Or like, there was just a lot of stuff that I didn't know. So that it was really tough. And I appreciate him for not throwing a bigger fit than he did because.
Well, it wasn't directed at you. I just get tired of the selfishness. I mean, sorry, it's
I mean, if
one-way
you just
deal,
wouldn't
and
have parked in those 2
Yeah.
parking spots, we wouldn't have been.
I understand.
yeah, don't park behind my trailer. I don't care where you park.
At least if I put up a no parking sign, let me seen.
Oh, I think I have nothing.
Do we need to talk about this partnership part-time?
And Cindy talked about it in our last meeting. I just made you a copy of the report. When it's coming out.
So
That's what she was talking about at our last meeting.
okay, so
The ending totals and,
so you got it all taken care of, Kate?
yeah.
I talked to Jared Hall today of Throne Enterprises. he said a rate study would be $5,000 to $7,000. I have no idea what that's.
That doesn't sound that bad to me, actually.
Uh,
I don't know what Pat used to.
Well, the last one we did, Carrie Hyde did it. I can't remember off the top of my head, but spend a lot of money just to find out that we're already charging enough and that rate wasn't feasible. So you want to think about that too.
Yeah.
Spend $7,000 just to be told that.
Can't
There's gonna have to be some infrastructure upgraded at some point.
Yeah.
I can dig out that last report. Maybe if you read that ahead of time of making a decision, that might be good.
Yeah.
I've never saw that one, so.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, your point's a good one, but I don't, it's also the flip side of that
Been
as
a
well.
while.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Could be you need one and you don't know it and it's too late. And I think that there might be some things we could talk to them about. Do we need to start building in a little bit now so that we can undertake some projects down the road without having to borrow money or something like that? If you can avoid borrowing money, it's much to your advantage. They're expensive.
Paul gets to meet him tomorrow at the INPA meeting. The only thing he really stressed that he'd like to do all conferences on video, and that's to our benefit, because we don't have to pay him any travel that way. I mean, he seemed
We got the TV,
yeah, pretty down to
Is
earth.
that the only quote you got, Jay?
Yes.
That one?
Yeah, Dirk had 3, and one of them, he said, he crossed it out, he talked to one of the reps, and they're, well, neither one of them's really interested in doing it, a town the size of Montezuma. And one was, he said, the rep told him, you can't afford us, go someplace else, so. But this was his recommendation, that's the only guy I talked to, I just talked to him today, so. Well, you might have, Dirk, if you get a chance, you can still in a couple minutes. And I'll get over them. Okay. Appreciate it. That's all I got. Oh, you come down yet for anything on what night? There.
It was brought to my attention this week that there's a fire hydrant. I talked to John a little bit about it on the corner of this parking wars mess, right on the corner. If someone would run over that fire hydrant, we might have a real big mess. So I said, could we put some kind of guardrails around that hydrant where if something happened, so.
What kind of requirements do you have about
Water and pump.
barricading?
3 feet all the way around at least. I think it's 3 feet. Does that sound right, PK?
I would listen, sir.
Barriers around the hydrant, 3 feet.
I think, yeah.
The, out now, I know out on 100 North there at Pond, they've got concrete barricades, so kind of, they're a little close, but if we could do basically what the library has, just a pipe.
Yeah.
That way if somebody hits it, it's a little bit instead of a pull back into or a whole fender. Then it'd be easy.
They can about take the one out there at the firehouse.
Yeah.
They don't get hit, just stuck there.
So that's all I had.
That'd be the only thing, just put something on all 4 sides to where we can access it, preferably no pipes or bars in line with the connection. So we can go under or
It
over.
doesn't impede in any driveways, right?
Sandy said, last week, we talked about the library board, county's having the same problem with them.
The county, like the parks.
Did you get
Yeah.
did you get their names? Cause I got their names. I know who's on there.
No, I didn't get
The
that.
Oh, let me
commissioners,
tell
that's it. It's on the Rockville paper. Nancy Sherrill,
You got it?
Crowder, Kim Crowder. And the third one was,
PJ?
Here it is. Laura Wilburn, Kim Crowder,
Yeah.
Nancy Sherrill.
Laura Wilburn.
There's a paper that we talked about at some point, but I've got a document somewhere that states that the town board gets to appoint somebody to it.
We always used to.
that became really, I'd have to look, John, library appointments are more complicated than like passing a law in Congress. It's, if it's this, and then this, that. And then there was some stuff a few years ago where, libraries that serve multiple jurisdictions, like yours does actually, you have to go, if they have to look at the number of tax parcels, and so, I mean, if I had somebody here from the library, they might know what I'm talking about, but I represent several different libraries, and not any of them have the same. Usually the school has some appointments. I don't know if the school.
Usually the school, the town, the township.
Yeah, I would have thought, and the county might have still had. So
I
in
asked
Vermilion
her about
County,
it one time, but she said the law had changed.
yeah, in Vermilion County, even though there's two libraries in Vermilion County too, there's the Clinton Library and the county library. So, and that library, the Clinton Library is really a township library, but the city has no appointments to it. And I know that's right. The county has appointments to it. The county council has an appointment. I believe the commissioners maybe have one or two, and the school has two or something like that. Vigo Counties is a whole county library, and so the city has no appointments to that either. So it doesn't surprise me that you may have lost that appointment in these changes. There were changes. They've made it really complicated.
I just thought.
But we did send them a letter, and
Yeah,
I've heard nothing.
she said, the county can't get any responses out of me.
Well, they should, maybe we could, I don't know. I mean, it's disappointing.
Kathy.
One of the things, that last thing on the list, that email I forwarded you from
Flood zone
IDNR.
ordinance. I was gonna ask, did the email, we got an email, I don't know if you sent to everybody, wanting us to update floodplain ordinance, which I just have skimmed quickly, because he had some stuff in there that's optional. And I also was just trying to figure out what changed, but he said there were new maps.
Firms, the
Yeah.
firms that changed.
Has
in the
anybody
county.
seen that? Because I'm just curious if, has it changed dramatically? I guess I can email him.
I can look into it real quick.
I'm just kind of curious because that can be impactful on people if they've changed it in a way where now properties that were not in the flood zone are now in the flood zone. Then those folks are, if they go to sell their house or get any kind of financing or something, they're going to have flood insurance, and they're going to have to be subject to these rules. And it doesn't change our need to do it, but it just concerned me about what changes, and were they, is Montezuma's map going to be any different than it has been in the past? Is it going to affect anybody different? Because I've seen it where, not here, but where a new flood ordinance is adopted and we just kind of do it, like, oh, we don't have any choice, we do it. And then we get these people who show up a year later mad because now their property's in a flood zone, and they're mad at us because, but we're like, we didn't decide where the flood zone was.
Yeah, I'd like to see them too. Because there was a number of houses that were listed on that, or, I don't know, they gave a number. And I was like, wow, that's a lot in the floodplain. I'd like to see where those are. I'm pretty close to the river.
I'll email and ask about if we can get a,
down by.
So it's, we'd all be white. I don't know.
That block where, the old canal runs down,
Okay.
by Bobby's house.
Yeah.
All that is.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because of the old canal running down.
Okay.
I know that. Because Leon was here, Leon Atkins, and just down over here, we had like 5 foot hit rock right there. Well, he was like, we wouldn't have any good. Yeah, he's keep the peace in me.
Sorry. I'm like,
you approved the 2,500 deal with Ordon at your last meeting, I know. I think I saw it in a minute. Kathy emailed me about it. So I made a few changes to the document, emailed them about it. They said those were fine. They wanted a W-9 from Kathy. I told them I'd bring the agreement to the meeting tonight and have you sign it. I forgot. They need some exhibits to it anyway. They were gonna update some of their exhibits, so it's no big rush, but we do have that and we will get to 2,500. The other thing, John called me yesterday and forwarded me an email. The guy's name's Ron Reagan, so, but not the president.
The gas guy.
And I can't remember, it's a utility gas management.
Yeah.
And I talked to him today, very nice guy.
Very nice.
And so I remembered some of this and had looked at it, it's been a few years. So there was a rate increase and we paid that rate increase, but there was litigation at the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission over whether that rate was proper or not. And it's called FERC, Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. FERC decided it was not. And so as a result of that, we received a several $100,000 refund for essentially the rate we had paid that we were going to get from Panhandle. Panhandle has appealed that decision, as they're entitled to the DC Circuit Court of Appeals. And I kind of forgot about it. It's been several years. Well, that thing's moving again. Now, they're really, the argument is really between Panhandle and FERC. That's who the appeal. They have that. If you looked up the case, it would say Panhandle, whatever, versus Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. Ron and the group that we're a member of wants to file something. It's called an amicus brief, friend of the court brief. Court of Appeals works off of paper. Well, not anymore, but they don't hear a lot of evidence. Here's the evidence. We need to make a decision, and then arguments are made on paper. And they want to file a brief in support of FERC and saying, yes, this rate does not need to, the decision was correct and this rate increase is invalid and should not be. So that costs money to hire lawyers to file that brief. There are reasons, he said, to do this. One is we have a vested interest in making sure that this appeal goes the way we want it to. And the best way to do that is to have an advocate there who's representing you. Now, FERC is representing you too, but FERC is they don't have the money and it's nice too. So if the Court of Appeals were to reverse this, it would be expensive to the town and we would have to, we'd owe money back. And
Be like 14.7% total because they get 7% interest.
yeah, they get 7% interest. Now, you don't have to pay it all at once. But basically, the question is, he said it'd be, I think he told me 3 to 5. I didn't look at his email and see our share of it. It's proportional, right? So
less than 5,000.
Yeah, the bigger customers pay more, the smaller customers pay less. He said that he had told me Morton, I think, someplace like that. I don't even know, is like their biggest one. And he said they're basically covering 50, or like the couple of the biggest ones are like 50% of it. And then everybody else is another 50%. And we're like, 10%, 5% of that 50% or something.